it's not like my bill. I'm not the only one on the bill. The bill is originally sponsored by three people: the Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCON, Honorable Amos Daniel, the Chairman of the Committee of Services, and then myself, Honorable Ambassador Daniel Asama. Actually, it's eminent that this bill should come up. The House Services has been struggling in trying to keep facilities and infrastructure in check. It is just not done anywhere. The true independence of the National Assembly is being kind of partially denied because of reliance on the executive for the execution of projects that has to do with the structures and facilities of the National Assembly. It's not a good practice. It is actually abusing the independence of the power that is shared amongst the three tiers of government. For the legislature, we need to be completely independent and practice our independence to the best of it. So, but of the recent times, our infrastructures and agencies are being cared for by the executive. It is not a good practice. Advanced countries and advanced democracies around the world doesn't do that. We're learning from the lessons of other developed and well-advanced democracies, and we should do it right. This is why in form of the bill, there's a lot that needs to be done internally that we have to rely on the executive to have it done. It is demeaning the House in a way.
So, sir, going through the bill, we discovered that most agencies that were invited, or like the FCT, who have been maintaining some of the infrastructures of the National Assembly, they failed to turn up. Do you think there's a possibility of this bill getting through at the end of the day?
In addition to his question, as an addendum, sir, the concerns he raised that the establishment agency will attract higher cost than this contract maintenance and given the paucity of funds in the national treasury. Do you think that the bill will see the light of the day, given all these concerns?
What makes a bill see the light of the day is the processes of which the bill has to go through to become a law. The enactment of a law has a process. It has a legislative process. And what happened today is one of the steps of the legislative process of making a law, of making a bill an act. And the only thing that stops that from happening if the process is not done the way it should be done. But when the process is well followed, it can be passed. So on the fact that whether it will see the light of the day or not, it is depending on whether the process is done or is not. If the process is done and is done the way it should be done, why wouldn't it pass? If the process is not done the way it's supposed to be done, it will not pass. It's as simple as that. Is the process being done? Yes, we have started the process and we are on the process. If anybody has a contrary opinion and think otherwise, it's still democracy. They can still write a petition and submit. But we did a public hearing, and they were invited. If anybody has anything to the contrary, he would appear and say why he had on the contrary. You not appearing is an affirmation. It is affirmation to me that you concur. If you don't concur, you complain. If you don't complain and you sit quiet, that means I cannot read your quietness for the negative of what I'm affirming. So if this is what we're affirming in the National Assembly, and this is what we think that should be done in the National Assembly, and they have a contrary opinion, they were invited to voice out their contrary opinion. I wouldn't say any more than that. If they do not show up for the invitation, we did the process. We did what is supposed to be done.
Are you satisfied with the turn of vote today, sir?
Yes, I am. because it is not, it went through public hearing because of a few agencies that are involved, but it is not a public bill. It is a National Assembly and State Houses of Assemblies bill. It's a legislative bill. So it's not, the turn-up, you wouldn't expect the whole world to be here because it's narrowed at a certain layer of government. But the people involved, like the FCT and National Service, House of Assembly Service Commission, and all of those were invited. And if any faction of those who were invited did not show up, to the best of what they think they didn't show up for, I don't know why you would boycott this, but I cannot hold a brief for them. I'm just under the fact that I would like the process to be done, and the process to be done the way it's constitutionally supposed to be done. And I did not see anything constitutionally wrong on the process today.
Your name, sir?
And for the weight of, I cannot hold a brief for the executive. We, in the National Assembly, appropriate the budget of the country. And we know how much goes to every agency and how we oversight those agencies. So for us to sit in the National Assembly and think that we need this, we have seen the angles. We appropriate, so we know the appropriations, we know where money goes to who, and what agencies does what. And for us to say we want to appropriate and manage this by ourselves, because it's our place, is only but being prompt, and we will be more proactive, we will be more efficient in delivery of services. It's different from when you handle your situation than when someone is handling your matter. It is just the mere sound of it. It's just not done. It is not right that the executive is managing the infrastructure of the National Assembly. It's really, really not supposed to. But that question of the capital or the resource and the financing of such a bill is relative, depending on the situation you're looking at hand. It could actually be even cheaper at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Your name.
Yes. So my name is Honorable Ambassador Daniel Asama. I represent the people of Bassa Just North, Federal Constituency.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, sir.
Actually, in the speaker's speech, he did mention that.
Please, can we have the civil society organizations here to kindly identify themselves so that we give them the opportunity to make their contribution? CSOs here present, please identify. Raise up your hand, please. But Mr. Chairman, please, I will give the microphone to you, please.
Honorable members, distinguished colleagues, my brother, the CNA, very senior management of the National Assembly here. The absence of all the relevant agencies and of course civil society organization here clearly indicates that this bill is in agreement with all relevant agencies, because in my opinion or our opinion is long overdue. It clearly states that they have nothing to lose. And I'm sure the CNA and myself and other very respected members of the Committee on Health Services will agree that in other parliament this is the practice, just like I highlighted in my remarks, and also the speaker also did same in his own remarks. So we'll do, we'll go ahead and conclude so that we all go back to our various duties for the day. But before calling for any adjournment, I'll ask my distinguished colleagues, members of the Committee on House Services, and other invited guests, if anyone has a comment or observation to raise or to give, so that we can go ahead and adjourn and continue with the process of concluding this report and submitting for further legislative action. Thank you. So any member with a comment, observation? Can you please?
Thank you very much, my chairman, my colleagues, our chief of ordinarily, I wouldn't have raised any concerns, but I am one who is open to further acquisition of knowledge, better understanding of the environment. Oftentimes I hear this argument, cost of governance, it will increase cost of governance. For those of you who read management, I don't know which would have been more appropriate. Is it the cost-benefit analysis or just the cost of governance? I have an old vehicle that is not performing, and I will need to change a couple of parts or probably even buy a new one for me to get to my destination. Would I depend on that old vehicle because I'm afraid to add a little more cost for efficiency and effectiveness, or spend a little and have to get to my destination? So if someone walks up to me and says, cost of this, I don't always listen. I expect to have what will be the benefits or what will not be the benefits. So if you come in tomorrow and tell me the cost of this, no. If the agency would do better than the old practice, it means it's going to guarantee a lot more benefits. But if the addition will not lead to anything substantial, if it's different, if the variance is not going to be positive, then I can listen to it.
No.
So,
Not
like
to.
my chairman said, all
This is my bag.
areas, all
Okay,
concerns,
okay, I didn't know when they put it.
we will seek further
Okay.
inputs where necessary. And Mr. Chairman, now the opportunity to probably sit together, look at the final draft before we present them to the committee of the board. My concern, I just raise it as a concern, not that you should answer. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Any further comment or observation? In the absence of none, I'll ask that Deputy Chairman, Committee on House Services, move for adjournment of this public hearing.
The chairman of this all-important committee, the House, Honorable Daniel Amos, my honorable colleagues, our guests who are part of us as well. I, Dr. Ishaya David Lalu, member representing Mongu Focus Federal Constituency, Plateau State, and the Deputy Chairman, Committee on House Services, hereby move that this public hearing should be adjourned, sine die, and I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Ajulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, the Chairman, my distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable member representing the Sudan, area of Association of the State. I used to support the election of the government, every group by my brother and friend, the chairman of the committee. I so support.
Thank you. This public hearing is adjourned sine die.